Welcome to the latest edition of Cageside Speaks. My name is 14 Fitzpatrick, and for this edition of Cageside Speaks, it's Money in the Bank. Now, Money in the Bank was a very, very interesting pay-per-view that aired on the WWE Network and also general pay-per-view overseas, and, well, stuff happened. For one thing, Dean Ambrose won the Money in the Bank briefcase. Also, Seth Rollins won the title from Roman Reigns, and then Seth Rollins lost the title to Dean Ambrose. Boo!
Yay!
And some people are extraordinarily happy about this.
Boo!
And some are not. So we brought together a group of Cagesiders to talk about the show as well as anything that happened post, as we now have Battleground to look forward to in July. First up, making his third appearance is Jomo.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Also making his, I believe, third appearance is Lordban.
Good evening, folks.
And we have two new debuts here today on the show. First up is Jared.
Hello.
And finally, I've mentioned her before on the podcast, we have Thingsandstuff with us today.
Hello.
And Thingsandstuff is the biggest Dean Ambrose fan ever.
I'll take that title.
So, obviously, the first person that we should be talking about is the person who currently holds the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, which is Dean Ambrose. Yes, I still can't wrap my head around that, but okay, I'll take it at this point. And especially considering in light of what has been happening recently in the world of WWE, Dean Ambrose is by far currently the best option at this point, given the circumstances. Because Roman Reigns got currently Roman Reigns got suspended. He broke the wellness violation policies. He's out for 30 days. And Dean is now the champion. I'm not sure how long, though, because some people think he's going to drop the title of Battleground, others don't. I want to get your thoughts on Dean's championship run, and we will start, of course, with Things.
Well, I think there's two ways to look at it. If you look at it kind of at the meta level, then it's who's the best person, who's the right person for the company's goals. But if you just dive into the story, it's so perfect. It's so satisfying after 2 years of just all the drama and all the trying and getting cut off and not getting his day in the sun. That's why it's just so exciting that it's finally Dean.
That's really cool. I mean, you're such a big fan of Dean Ambrose and have been for over the last few years that this is a really great moment for you. So, Jared, what are your thoughts on the Dean Ambrose title victory?
Not really an Ambrose fan, but I'm kind of liking what I see so far. He seems relaxed, seems kind of fresh.
Okay, cool. Matt, what are your thoughts on the Dean Ambrose title victory?
I'm really happy he's champion now. The Roman stuff was getting tired with the pushback and the pullback and whatever. And it looks like, well, he's suspended now, obviously. And it looks like we could get away from that now. Like just in the past few months, the Styles feud and now with the Shield feud. Maybe we're going to get to better storytelling with him. But I'm glad somebody that the people like is the champion now, you know? Even if my love for Dean died down a little bit over this year, after the Brock match and the Asylum match, I was still pretty happy to see him as the champion. And I feel like that reflects a good amount of the fan base, too. So, I don't know, the ratings went up this week pretty well, too, so I guess.
I mean,
it worked out.
Partially because of the fact that Game 7 of the finals was running, so that might be the possibility as to why the ratings were up so much, because people were like, whoa, wait a minute, Dean's champion, wow. So, Lordban, what are your thoughts on the Dean Ambrose title victory?
Well, I'm going to say that on Sunday evening it was a perfect story. Well, yes, Mr. Rollins did manage to fight back, bet Roman Reigns almost clean, shall we say. It wasn't his fault if something happened. And then his actually worked hard for once. He's actually come back and done what he said he would do, be the guy. I hate that pronunciation. And yes, the French guy saying that. And then, oh, look, who's behind you? Dean Ambrose. Aha. How did you win your first title again? Aha. Oops.
Yes. It's that kind of retroactive storytelling. You know, he hit people in the back with the chair, and then,
Just hit in the back of the head with a briefcase, and it was perfect.
Yes. So the second person in this conversation besides Dean, so how long do you think Dean is going to hold the title?
That's a very good question.
I think, again, it's if you look at it from the meta level and say, okay, did they really just put it on him because of Roman? Then I can sit and worry and fret and say, oh, he's going to lose it in a month, he's going to lose it in 2 months. But if you just look at the story, there's a good story right there. I mean, people on this call who had lost interest in Dean are enjoying him as a champion. I think if they have the guts for it, just leave it on him for the summer.
That's a very interesting point. I mean, I know that you want Seth Rollins as champion, Lordban. How long do you think he should have the belt?
I'm going to surprise you there. Actually, I don't want Seth Rollins as champion again for a good long time. I'm actually inclined to seeing Roman Reigns get back that belt if he finally turns heel. They kind of have to at this point, because he's going to be murdered by live audiences when he gets back in front of one. So yeah, that's actually the reason why I think they are going to go back to Roman.
That might be a possibility. Jared, what are your thoughts on this?
I kind of agree with things. Let Ambrose hold it through the summer. Just ride it while it's hot. I don't want Roman anywhere near the title anytime soon.
Yeah. So, Matt, what are your thoughts on it?
I think that the next few weeks are going to determine how long Dean holds the title. Just like I said before, ratings just shot up with Dean winning the belt. So if they stay high or higher than what we've had for like the last year, then I think they'll let him keep it a bit longer. You know, business is good when you got a champion everyone likes.
Might I make a small remark about the ratings, by the way? Since we've had today, thanks to our own old host of this show, KM Turney, sorry for butchering him, he brought us the males 1849 demos, and actually the ones who really killed the ratings were Cena and Styles.
Interesting. That the old guard actually was able to draw the ratings more so than the younger guard. So,
I don't know if I'd say Styles is a part of the old guard, though. I mean, he's like old, but he's not like... He's like 6 months into his WWE career, too.
But he was also in wrestling for a very long time as part of Ring of Honor and TNA, and probably he's getting those viewers into the system now.
Oh, okay, I got it.
AJ Styles.
That makes sense then, yeah.
So the second person on our conversation list of the trio known as the former trio known as the Shield is Roman Reigns. As mentioned earlier in the podcast, he was suspended for 30 days for his first violation of the WWE wellness policy. Now, this has shocked a lot of people and has also caused a lot of people who were his critics to double down and intensify and attack pretty much at random at this point people who are fans of Roman Reigns. And others who are fans of Roman Reigns are very sad and disappointed to hear the news of his suspension, such as Tanya Rogers. So, what are your thoughts on the Roman suspension and how does this affect him? And we'll start with Jared.
I don't know if I'm disappointed. I'm still in a bit of shock. I guess it depends on exactly what he took. And I think on Ride Along, he mentioned he was in a lot of pain. So if it was painkillers, I can understand that. If it was, hopefully it changes something with the scheduling. The roster split should come in handy. You know, ease the workload on them. If it was steroids, That'd be a really hard pill to swallow. I'm really hoping it's not that, though.
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree with Jared. If it's steroids, that's kind of a big deal. I don't think that's what it is, though. I'm disappointed he's gone, though, because this is a feud I really wanted him around for. You know, I wanted all three Shield guys taking shots at each other for like 3 or 4 weeks or however long we have, and then we get the finally we get the triple threat. I mean, you could still work this feud without Roman, but it's not gonna. The bill won't be as good, I don't think.
Okay, what are your thoughts on this, Lordban?
I was going to say it's simply not going to really be a Shield build. It's going to be interesting to watch Seth Rollins chasing after Dean Ambrose for a change, but the third player in this is missing, and it would be a completely different dynamic. That is going well. It's a missed occasion. I'm going to join also, hoping, well, he doesn't look like he's doing the really bad stuff, shall we say. But on the other hand, I'm going to point out that these guys have incredible schedules. Well, Roman was already on a schedule that was basically going to have him working something like 200 matches a year, most of which he wrestles in the main event of house shows. It takes a toll on the body. And I wouldn't be surprised if he did something about that.
Well, he had that hernia injury a few years ago, and what's concerning about Roman is that he has had a lot of internal injuries over the last few years, and that really isn't normal compared to usual injuries, where usually it's just head, neck, arm, or whatever. So, Things, what are your thoughts on this Roman suspension?
I have a hard time getting really angry at the guy behind Roman, Joe plays Roman, because, like they were saying, we don't know what he did. If it was something really selfish and irresponsible, then I'd be more annoyed. And I think it's possible that it's more sympathetic. So I keep looking at it in terms of story, and I think everybody's right that it changes the story they can tell in the next month. So I don't know. I just mostly feel sad about the whole thing.
I mean, I do feel disappointed about it as well, but I kind of have a bit of a sort of indifference to it at this point because of the fact that the guy works over 200 matches a year. It was bound to happen at some point that he was taking something that, you know, would get him through that schedule. And
I think what it comes down to is, I mean, the first day or so, all we wanted to do was speculate as hard as we could in all of the forums. But no amount of speculation is going to tell us what really happened.
It's not going to help anybody either, notably because it's quite possible that legally we are not going to be possibly told what really went on. And that speculation is indeed doing a lot of damage. I'm not just talking about Cageside seats where we are really tame, but going out there, there are fan wars over this, and it's bad.
Yeah, there's wars going on right now from the people who have been against Roman since the Royal Rumble 2 years ago, and there have been people who have trying to defend Roman, and this isn't really a case where either person needs defending or attacking. It's just a thing that happened. It's a suspension that happened. He'll be back around Battleground, and we'll see where it goes from there. So the third person in this conversation is the one that's honestly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around as to why exactly he's still in the main event scene, is Seth Rollins. He returned at Money in the Bank to face Roman Reigns and won the championship ever so fleeting, and then Dean hit him in the back of the head with a briefcase, and then he lost the title. So what do you think is next for Seth Rollins down in the future? And we're going to start with Lordban, who is his biggest fan.
Well, very simply, why is he in the main event? Did you listen to the crowds when he returned? I think that's justification enough to why. Well, you know people want to see the guy. That said, he's not doing the same kind of work that earned him with you the moniker of Triple R. It's not that we're seeing right now. We're seeing a guy that's a lot more focused, who doesn't drone on and on and on and on and on, like was the case during his own world title run. So yeah, it's it's no big surprise for me. He's back there, and he's actually the guy I don't see regaining the title either.
So he's not getting the title either. So Things, what are your thoughts on Seth Rollins?
Do you really want all my thoughts? Probably
Sure.
not. Gosh, I have a hard time being objective about him because his character work 2 years ago just set the tone for how I watch the entire show. I mean, I've been watching WWE for 2 months, and then he does the chair shot, and I'm like, okay, he's the devil, and that's about all I can think about him. So if he went away forever, I'd be happy. If they keep him around, I hope that they punch him in the face as much as possible.
Usually that's sort of the role for Dean Ambrose, but I can understand in this case.
Right.
Because Dean was in the punching to the face role for me. So Jared, what are your thoughts on Seth Rollins? Where do you see him going from here?
I'm not sure. One thought that popped into my head was I was afraid that Triple H might wind up coming back after Battleground to set off a face turn for Rollins. I don't know.
Well, you honestly kind of don't need Triple H at this point because the fans are, for some reason, cheering for him because of his injury return. It's the injury return pop. I think I kind of partially understand why. Also because they hate Roman for whatever reason.
And not Roman is actually really a big part of this, yes.
Yeah.
I think with Roman being out, Triple H probably figured, with his ego, well, we need someone to get someone over. Only I can get a guy like Rollins over. So
You've already done
like
enough helping Triple H. Part of the reason as to why Rollins has been so bad over the last year is because Triple H keeps giving him ideas. And they're not very good ones.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think that Rollins... Well, what was the report out here recently? That Rollins is probably going to be the main event heel with Roman being the main event face on Raw, or the top face on Raw. I think that was it. That's probably where he goes. I don't know. With the brand split, it's kind of hard to pin down what's going to happen with everybody.
Yeah, that's going to be, it's like the biggest mystery. Is the plan going to be Roman is going to be on Raw with Seth, or are they going to change plans again because of Roman's suspension? And we really don't know what is going to happen there.
He's going to be suspended on the day of the draft.
Yeah. He's going to be suspended on the day of the draft. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, we have Seth Rollins. I think Seth Rollins might actually end up in a feud with the next person that we are going to be talking about here. And he started, well, worming his way into the championship scene, much like he did in NXT. Sami Zayn. And, Lordban, you have words about Sami that I would like the audience to hear.
I have one word about Sami Zayn: evil. Let's be very clear about that. Yeah, no, it's a character that really cannot connect with me, but well, we are all going to have characters like that who just don't click because, sorry, but for me, Sami Zayn's story has never sounded really true. Well, on the other hand, I'm going to say that he did, it was a nice match. It was a very nice match on first day, so yeah. And, well, I want to see more of that.
Yeah, I mean...
Between Sami and Rollins on SmackDown, right?
Yeah, it was a match for
okay.
free TV. It was a great match for free TV,
Right,
yeah.
I saw that. I haven't watched it yet because I wasn't around for it, but yeah. I would be interested in seeing the feud, I guess. I mean, Owens and Sami still got their thing. I guess that's going to end at Battleground, but I don't know. If they're on the same brand, I'd be up for it.
Well, actually, Sami sort of ended the feud this week on Raw. You know, he needs to focus on other things, and focusing too much time on Owens has cost him to lose focus, and he wants to go after the championship gold. So, Jared, your thoughts on Sami?
Not a fan. I've seen nothing from him worth cheering for. You know, he came to, I think, Royal Rumble, came in, eliminated Owens, fought with Owens. I don't really remember. There was a story there. They explained that one, but I haven't really, not really feeling Sami Zayn. Some self-entitled to me.
Yeah. So, Things, what are your thoughts on Sami Zayn?
I want to like him more than I do right now. I think it's something about the way he puts himself across I do find likable, but there's no story to dig into yet. So I'm hoping for the best, but there's other people that interest me more.
Yeah, like Dean Ambrose, and
Just
of course,
little, yeah.
and of course your favorites, Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder and the Vaudevillains.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, there's so many awesome characters these days. I always like the minor characters that disappear. So that's part of why it's so exciting that Dean is finally on top. It's because somebody I like is finally doing something.
That was kind of like with me with Roman Reigns being on top there for a little bit there, and we'll have to see where things go, because it looks like that Rollins might end up in a feud with Sami. As, whenever they introduce players like this into the championship scene, it means that they want to push them into the main event angles. And they just did that with Sami, so it looks like you might be getting your wish with Evil versus Evil. Or Seth Rollins can be taken out by the CGI shark, because word is he's going to be in the Sharknado 4 movie.
If he's not Shark Chow, I am not watching.
I am going to troll you with that avatar.
Yes, you hear that, producers of Sharknado 4? If Seth Rollins isn't shark food, Things isn't buying your movie.
I want a triple powerbomb to a shark in in episode 5, though, if Seth Rollins lives.
Yes.
That needs to be in my life.
So, Dean is the champion, Roman is in trouble, and, Roman is in really big trouble right now with Vince McMahon, who's has the power to melt 1 million marshmallows, evaporate the entirety of Lake Tahoe, and melt about 14,767 cars by just walking by them. He's obviously got to be very upset about this, seeing as he's pushed Roman for 2.5 years as the top guy.
Yeah.
Survivor Series 2013, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, this was his guy, and it's sort of like a Triple H moment when Triple H was heavily pushing for Seth Rollins, and then all of this stuff started happening to him. And it's like chaos now. The summer has just turned out to be another summer of chaos, and well, at least one thing we know for certain is that John Cena and AJ Styles will continue to feud. Cena returned at Money in the Bank and shockingly lost his return match to AJ Styles. Which I'm kind of annoyed by, because I don't really particularly like AJ Styles and was happy with Cena winning. So, what are your thoughts on the Styles-Cena feud? We'll start with Lordban.
What are my thoughts? First, when I saw that it was going to begin, I was, oh no, they're doing this again with Cena turning a really popular guy and really hot guy heel so that he can face Cena. And on second thought, yeah, but it's AJ Styles. I want more of him in well, it's not really the main event program, but it's John Cena, so it's just as good as that. They're getting the time. They are getting a very interesting feud, and the match was excellent until the finish.
Yeah.
Because well, it's not so much interference. I'd like them to have at least given AJ just a bit more agency in that. Make him claim, at the very least, at some point, that he had asked the guys to be ready, the rest of the club to be ready in case there was an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, the troll job on Monday evening was sensational.
Oh,
We're so sorry, John. We didn't mean to punch you in the face or interfere in the match.
that was pretty funny, I gotta say. Yeah. I don't know. I like this feud. I don't know. I probably could spend more time paying attention to Raw when it's actually on, But I don't know. I really like the match they put on at Money in the Bank, and I think they have got at least 2 more coming. Maybe a World Heavyweight title match at SummerSlam. I don't know. I don't know. Should be fun.
Yeah, that should be very interesting, because the bigger question is like, they're going to most likely split the championship belts again, and what's going to happen is that Styles and Cena are going to feud over those belts, potentially. Although everything is an idea up in the air at this point, judged by the whims of fate. So, Jared, what are your thoughts on the Styles-Cena feud?
I like the idea of Styles versus Cena. 2 guys who carried the companies for years. I remember watching TNA from 2002 to around 2006. Seen a lot of AJ, so I like him. Cena, I used to be a fan of early on. Then I stopped. And then with this Bullet Club thing, or whatever they're called, I like the match at Money in the Bank, but I didn't like the finish. I'm not a fan of Gallows and Anderson, the whole interference thing, so I feel like it's just another feud where Cena goes over at the end. I don't really see it working out too well for Styles during this feud.
I think AJ will be okay. He survived far worse. He survived this Claire Lynch angle. I think John Cena is minor compared to that.
Don't even make me remember that. I'm eating right now.
Bon appetit!
I survived the TNA during the worst times. I'm completely immune to their nonsensical angles and feuds at this point. Things, what are your thoughts on the Styles-Cena feud?
I have this thing with John Cena now, where I put him in this bubble, and the bubble is not part of the rest of the show. Because in the John Cena bubble, John Cena is always right, and he always wins, and he always sticks out. So finally I went, okay, for my own sanity, he's not really in the stories anymore. So every now and then somebody has to go in the Cena bubble and have the dumb little Cena story, and then they get to come back to reality. So I literally don't care anymore what Cena does.
That's an excellent point there, Things. You don't care what Cena does at this point with anybody in the Cena bubble.
It's the only way to manage him, because he's toxic to real stories that have any emotion to them, because he's just, I could launch and take over the rest of the podcast and complain about him, and I probably shouldn't do that. So.
Well, go ahead and complain. You got the time.
Cena bubble, that's all I have to say.
Okay, Things.
AJ will be okay when he gets out. I'm not crazy about him, but I don't mind him.
So beyond AJ Styles, where do you see Cena fitting in? I mean, he's probably going to be the number 2 face on SmackDown. And most likely.
I had him for the top spot there, Get that 16th title reign out of the way early, and then he can kind of slip to he'd slip a bit lower on the, the scale there, and then put a couple guys over before he slips into part-timer territory.
I mean, the problem is with people wanting to force people into the part-time territory is that sometimes they don't want to do it, or they're, they still think that they have something left in the tank because it's professional wrestling, and they always seem to think that.
True, very true.
Because it is a game of ego, professional wrestling, and you don't want to admit to yourself that you don't have it anymore.
Just ask Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan about that.
Oh, yeah.
There is that, and then there is also, this is WWE. We are in front of a show that is going to put part-timers really, really above and beyond the others. Undertaker, I'm looking at you. Brock Lesnar, I'm looking at you. And if John Cena is going to end, well, at the top of the show, basically, we're going to end with something like that, and just going to put on a show that, yeah. And I screwed it. I was going to show Lady B winning, lol. So, sorry. But yeah, we are going to see John Cena wins again. But only part-time and only above, well, those who are deemed, well, able to compete with him.
Which is, at this point, the list is, I think, maybe Neville, maybe they'll go Owens again. I'm not really sure at this point, because, like, the brand split in the draft has really put a roadblock in the fantasy booking of a lot of people as to, like, what are they going to be doing? How are they going to do it? What belts go on what brand? And how are the tag teams going to work? How's the women's division going to work? And all of that is up in the air right now, as it was a month ago. And we still don't really have any clear answers as to who, what, where, and why. And, you know, the brand split is going to be a very interesting time. And we have the two minor championships. Now, The Miz is away in Hollywood filming the Marine 5, which leaves the United States Championship and the real American hero, Rusev, as the
Rusev.
Yep. And Rusev seems to have gotten back on track on the, you know, he's gone on the crush bandwagon. And he crushed Titus O'Neil at Money in the Bank, which we are all thankful for. And now he looks like he's sort of becoming a face, because the people who are going against him are far more obnoxious than he is. What are your thoughts on this, Lordban?
What I'm thinking, well, Titus O'Neil, it was a feud which told me, yeah, this is not really going anywhere now, is it? Let's face it, Titus himself was suspended not too long ago. It's already nice that he got a title feud already. But on the other hand, you have Rusev, who has been given really, really bad material, who's basically been punished by association because, well, his girlfriend did screw up on her end, according to WWE. And it's still been one of the best parts of the show. Every time he's funny, he's spontaneous, he's always interesting. He had that TV championship thing going at the Royal Rumble, which was really funny. And it's that guy.
So, Jared, what are your thoughts on Rusev at this point? Where do you see him going from here?
I put him in a feud with maybe. Did he feud with Cesaro? I feel like he did.
Cesaro's a possibility.
Yeah, I give him a nice feud against somebody and build him up to the main event eventually.
So long as he doesn't run into the SS John Cena again, and ends up in the Cena bubble, as what Things said. And so, Things, what is your thoughts on Rusev at this point?
I found him most entertaining when he was with the League of Nations, and I think it's because he had somebody to bounce off of, and because he could be a little bit sillier. And his character is just so serious that it's fun to get that contrast of a little bit of goofiness. And I'm hoping that whatever they do with him, they'll be able to draw out that goofiness a little bit more, because I think it just makes him a lot more compelling.
I agree with you there. I mean, also, you have to consider that, like, my headcanon for Rusev is that he's the guy that's sort of the beleaguered boyfriend/husband to the world's craziest Vladimir Putin fan fiction artist known as Lana. I mean, like...
he's dead. He's
yes. I would rather be anywhere else Please, Nana, please do not show the pictures of Vladimir Putin shirtless again. But Rusev, I need it for my Vladimir Putin fanfiction.
Vladimir Putin fanfiction. Don't you dare bring that evil on me.
Oh, God. I'm sure that exists. I don't want to find anything about it, but I'm sure it's out there.
Yes, it is.
And Lana probably has written the most horrifying versions. Vladimir Putin and the Iron Curtain. The literal Iron Curtain.
What a stupid show.
Yes, what a stupid show. So, Matt, what are your thoughts on Rusev?
Alright, I think, like what Jared said, feuding Cesaro would be just excellent. I would take a feud against Neville, too. I think he needs, a feud against somebody who has more, like, who has, like, more popularity or exposure, I guess, than, like, Titus O'Neil or Kalisto. Then after that, yeah, let's start building him up to the main event. I mean, I don't know. I love this guy. He can... I don't know. He entertains me thoroughly, I'll just say that.
He crushes people, of course. Rusev and Cesaro had matches before. They've competed twice. Cesaro was the second man to pin Rusev clean on the main roster in very solid matches. From what Lordban is telling me here in the chat.
Yeah.
So, Rusev will most likely face either Cesaro again, or he'll face against a returning Neville from injury, which is understandable of an injury feud. Although I think Neville might be feuding with The Miz when he gets back from his Hollywood filming of the Marine 5, which I sure will be a box office draw on
Just
DVD.
like the others.
Is it wrong of me to want to see a feud between The Miz and Rusev?
That might be a good one.
I mean, I'm really curious because I wonder what Miz would say and do with regards to that. Yeah.
Also, you have the potential, once again, for the, I hate to say it, the cat fight between Maurice and Lana.
Let's not make it a cat fight. They are interesting enough on their own.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that Maurice could probably beat her up in a fight easily.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure Vince and Dunn already have the cat fight planned out second by second, though, right now, so...
She'll probably ruin that, because did you see the death glare that she gave Kevin Owens when Kevin Owens was fighting Miz in the Fatal 4-Way?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If looks could kill, Kevin Owens would be dead. Or at least deep fried.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mary is becoming valet for Sami Zayn.
Yeah. So, Kevin Owens has managed to distance himself from the evil one in this feud, even though they keep continuing to fight one another in intervals at this point. Where do you see Kevin Owens going at this point? And we'll start with Matt.
Well, I would hope the main event scene, but I feel like that's not what's going to happen here. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a face right now that could really use a feud with him, but a lot of the mid-card guys already have been feuding with him for a while. Like Cesaro, Sami, we're just getting done with that. That's another option for Neville, in case you can't tell. I really like Neville. Kalisto could work there. I really don't know. This is something that puts Kevin Owens over so we can kind of move up the card a little bit is what I would do with him.
I mean, he could potentially slot into one of these two storylines when they do the blind split. He might be the next opponent for John Cena after AJ Styles. In which they could redo that feud, which we saw last year, and that didn't go over so well. So, Lord, what are your thoughts on Kevin Owens?
Well, I'm not as optimistic about his possibly getting back to a main event picture. It's not that he can't do it. It's more that, well, let's face it, since the end of the Cena feud, he's been a mid-carder. That's what he was. Well, we've seen him get, well, not close, but not too far from the. He's had 2 matches which got him close to a championship opportunity, not a title match. He had that semi-finals match at Survivor Series. He had a match before to become #1 contender, Fatal 4-Way, the day after Hell in a Cell. They've used him in the title picture before, but never to the end. He's always gone back to the mid-card after that, and I'm worried that's what is going to stay.
I mean, at least he'll get paid in the mid-card, but that's the good thing about it. But, you know, people want to see him in the main event scene, and I personally want to see him as a face, not as a heel, because he represents the working class a lot better than our current working class champion. Sorry, Things. So what are your thoughts on Kevin Owens, Steve?
I'm not into him, so it's hard to be real excited about what they do with him. But objectively, everybody else except me is into him. So I think he should be in the main event for that reason. And I would much prefer him as a face. He can show emotion. He's a good actor, but he's so mean, and I'm not interested in a mean character. So if he could be heroic, I think I'd be all over that.
I could be all over that as well. I mean, he is a really good main event face, and you know he's proven that he can play face before. And Jared, what are your thoughts on Kevin Owens?
Put him in the main event scene. Looking at the list, and it's not really any faces. Maybe Orton when he comes back. Yeah, I'd make Owens a face too, because I like him. I don't know how you can do a guy who's fighting for his family. That's a face to me.
Yeah, I've never understood it from the start as to why they put the family man as the heel and not the evil hipster like Sami, who happens to be single.
Well, Sami overcame.
Yeah. And then he got his head kicked in by Nakamura, and all is well. That's one of my favorite things about NXT right now, is that Nakamura is ending every single person that I don't like on that brand. And
not a Blake and Murphy fan?
I'm a fan of Murphy, but I'm more of a fan of their ex-manager, Pixie Hulk.
Oh, trust me, so am I, man.
Yeah. She's the
she
best.
was the team for me.
And next, speaking of tag teams, our next segment involves the New Day are apparently feuding with the Wyatt family now. The Wyatts are back again. So, Lord, what are your thoughts on this tag team feud?
1 year ago, I would have been really, really worried because the Wyatts Bray needs to speak. That's what he does. And tag team feuds did not get too much time until, the New Day started rolling. This is now. They are going to get the time, and it's going to be awesome.
Okay, cool. Jared, what are your thoughts?
I love Bray Wyatt. I really wish Luke wasn't hurt, because I'm not a fan of Braun Strowman at all. Rowan's okay, but he really works best when he's got Luke backing him up and hiding his weaknesses. Can't say I'm a fan of New Day, because I think they try too hard.
They're too obnoxious for you, is what you're saying.
I feel like they laugh at their own jokes too many times.
I would like it more where the New Day was sort of in their when they did the clap or snap promo is when I sort of became a fan of them, and I agree that they have become a little too silly. You know, I don't mind silly teams. It's just that the New Day overdoes it a lot of the time. Matt, what are your thoughts on the New Day versus the Wyatts feud?
I'm kind of trying to figure out how this is gonna work, because I guess the Wyatts are heels again. I'm not that excited about that, and I'm guessing that Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman are gonna be the ones getting the tag title match at Battleground too. So do they want to It seems like they've wanted an Enzo and Cass versus the New Day feud for a while, but are they going to make the Wyatt family lose again to get there? Or I don't know. I'm just the pieces in here, they don't quite fit, I guess, unless Bray's going to be teaming with Rowan or something here. I don't. Yeah, SummerSlam would be great for Enzo and Cass and New Day, but like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
There's a lot of
SummerSlam is a
mystery.
possibility for the New Day to feud with the Wyatt family. So, Things, you wrote an entire article about this New Day Wyatt feud on Cageside Seats. What are your thoughts on this one?
I did. When the Wyatts came out, I found it compelling, which I was so bored of Bray by the time he left that I was surprised and really happy to be enjoying it so much. And then they brought out the New Day, and I was like, come on, you can't make the Wyatts look like a joke again. And then they started the thing with Xavier staring at Bray and walking down the ramp towards him, and that was when the flip switched for me, and I'm all in on this. I think it's really cool.
I agree with you. You know, it's going to be a really cool feud. We'll see how they do what they do with this. And since we're talking about tag teams, Enzo and Cass, the Vaudevillains, and the Club are also teams that are involved in the hunt. And you're particularly a fan of the Vaudevillains. What are your thoughts on them?
I know that it's easy for me to get into a team like that because I'm interested in history. I like historical cosplayers, and so it's like somebody sat down at the WWE office and said, "Okay, let's write a tag team that she's gonna like." So I try to be objective, kind of, and say, okay, they're not for everybody, but gosh, they're so great. They're interesting and they're smart. They kind of have that snobby standout intellectual savior vibe. I feel like if they would use them and let them do silent black and white promos and just go all in, hopefully it would show people what I'm enjoying so much.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the Shining Stars, and I enjoy their annoying, please buy our flyers because we kind of need to pay off all the bills for our illegal bullfighting days. You know, I would like the Shining Stars to face the Vaudevillains. That would be a very interesting feud. You know, the angry tour guides versus the vaudeville act. And there's a lot of interesting tag teams in the world, and of course, well, I'm not as high on Enzo and Cass as a lot of people are, mainly because I'm starting to find Enzo extremely annoying, and Cass is good. He's the guy I like. In fact, I was kind of happy that Cass was on his own for a while. I know people are saying that, oh, he needs Enzo to do promos. Cass can do promos just fine. It's just like, Enzo is the most annoying chihuahua ever. And his promos are really starting to irritate me now that I have to listen to them every week. And Things, I believe you are in the same boat. What are your thoughts on those guys?
I don't like either of them. I think they're... And again, I get that this is just me, but they remind me of The Rock, and I think The Rock is an annoying 10-year-old who just discovered potty humor. And they're just more of the same. I can hardly sit through what they're doing unless they're going to fight somebody I care about.
Mm-hmm. Well, I personally think that The Rock is an overinflated hot air balloon, but that's just me.
Hot takes.
Yep. Hot takes today on this edition of Cageside Speaks. So, next up is the women's segment. This time we didn't have a title match. We had a tag team match between Charlotte and Dana Brooks versus Becky Lynch and
Natalia.
Who let the dogs out?
We're having a match with the dog, apparently, yes.
Apparently the dog wanted to get on the show. So, Lord Von, what are your thoughts on the women's division?
I was going to look. I didn't manage to put up the list, but well, first match we got when we had finally that introduction to the women's championship was very long. It was on WrestleMania. It was really a big deal, and it was brilliant. Second match we had was on Payback. It was also a very nice long match. The third one at Extreme Rules is already considerably shorter, and now we're at Money in the Bank, 3 pay-per-views later, 3 months later, and we're back to 7-minute matches, tag matches on pay-per-view, and 30, 60, 90-second matches on SmackDown and Raw. Where is the women's revolution?
It's out to lunch.
It's a very long lunch.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I never was really in the category of the women's division was going to succeed because it needs a lot more than just saying that you're doing a revolution to mean that you're actually changing things. I mean, look at Bayley. Bayley is legitimately actually changing things in the women's division down in NXT because she realizes that she has popularity, but she also doesn't have a big head like a lot of these people seem to do. And she wants other people to succeed around her. Liv Morgan, Carmella, Alexa Bliss, even Nia Jax. Everybody down there is benefiting from Bayley being the, ironically enough, the Undertaker of NXT. So basically, she is the. She's learning, she's agenting, she's doing so much work backstage. She posts Twitter pictures of her being in the back with the headset on the microphones. You know, she really seriously is into this. So even if her ring career ends suddenly, like sometimes they do, she has a role backstage, and Bayley is very capable of that.
She has a great mind for business, by the way. She's showing such a diverse palette in front of very diverse opponents, and it always works.
Yeah, I mean, and she's having 4-star matches with Nia Jax of all people. Miracles do happen, folks.
Oh, great wrestler.
Not just in TNA either.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
So, what are your thoughts on the women's division, Matt?
Well, I'm happy to see Sasha back. I haven't really been that big of a fan of Charlotte. I thought she should have dropped the belt at WrestleMania instead of going to that Natalya feud, which feud of the year, right? No. I don't know. I'm not, like Lordban said, I'm just not convinced they are actually going to try to make this work as well as it could. Like, yeah, the match the match times are going down, and well, I heard, this is just a rumor, I guess, but Becky might have been the one that was supposed to turn heel instead of Natalya until like days leading up to the pay-per-view. And if that's the case, I don't know. I don't understand what the thought process is behind this. I'm not sure if Bayley coming up is even going to help at this point. I don't know. There's always, it seems like every couple months, it's just a roller coaster ride, really, where like Sasha's back now, so not everybody, but there's a majority of people who are like, oh yay, things are going to get good again. And then once Sasha wins the belt and she's putting on 5-minute matches against Charlotte again on Raw, everybody will be like, yeah, this is not great. And then Bayley comes up, it'll be like, yay, it's good again. And then she does nothing, or they'll book her into the ground, and it'll be like, oh, it sucks. And then I'll just keep on that roller coaster and never really get anywhere.
It is kind of reminding me of that rant that I made a few podcasts back about, oh, it's the one person that we like. Let's push them to the moon. Oh no, they're now being jobbed out, and now we're sad again, and like, come on, guys. Root for the whole division, not just the one person that you really, really, really like. Because that's the thing that's going to save the women's division is if you go and support all of them who are doing well, and not just being like Natalya, who is the literal monkey wrench of this division. Every time she gets a major angle, she literally sabotages it. Whether it's by design or if she literally thinks, oh, this is going to get them over. Yay, legacy.
That's what happens when you're kind of a black hole of charisma, though. So.
And also being around the hearts. Because that's a negative right in there itself. So, Fings, what is your thoughts on the women's division at this point?
It always feels like there's like 3 or 4 women in it ever, and the other ones don't exist. There's so many men characters that I can be completely uninterested in some and really into a few, and it feels like a full show. But with the women's division, I'm interested in Becky as a character, and the rest of them are just kind of there. But I already know that we're going to get 1, maybe 2 matches in a Raw if we're lucky. And I don't know who they are. There's not enough variety for me to really get engaged with more than one of the women wrestlers right now. They need more screen time, and they need more emotion, more reason for what they're doing.
I mean, the one promotion that I see is doing this right, ironically enough, is CMLL. They just had a 2 out of 3 falls women's match on the Friday Night Arena Mexico show between Zexus and Princess Shuget. And they literally stole the show from everybody else. And they had a 20-minute long match. Whereas versus the match that was on Raw, which was like, 75 seconds? 5 minutes, Bon? And SmackDown was also a really short match that ended in, I think, a disqualification.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Becky just got rolled up.
And I don't know what they're doing with that there, because they're trying to make Dana Brooks the heavy to Charlotte, where in reality she really should be with the Vaudevillains, because that would work out so well. Those two.
She's a fun character, and I think that's the one thing she brings to the division, is that she wakes it up a little bit. I mean, they're just, something about it all still feels very bland. And I hate to say that because I want the women to do well. I want it to be part of the show. But maybe it's the fact that Dana is a character. She's goofy, she's a little over the top. Everybody else is basically pretty deadly serious all the time. And I think that's why it gets boring.
I agree with you there, because you need characters to build a story, and if you don't have characters to build a story, then you're just having random matches. Like in December, Sasha and Becky are having these long matches, but there's no real story there. It's just Sasha Banks trying to, end up in a wheelchair faster than she already is, because she's back, and I don't know really how to feel about Sasha being back, because I've never really been the biggest fan of Sasha Banks or her work style, which leads to her being injured, because she always goes into big match mode, even when it's not really a necessity to go into big match mode. So, Jared, what is your thoughts on the women's division?
I kind of wish they'd push the reset button on that, but that would take a lot of work. I kind of agree with the things that seems like there's only 4 women at a time. Right now it's like Charlotte, Sasha, Becky. There's not really a 4th. Maybe Natalya or maybe Paige. I don't know. It's still a mess right now.
And apparently they...
Divas Revolution.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to do a reset when the reset you already did is going to be undone, which was just a year ago, and there's currently 12 women active on the main roster at this point, and they're planning on splitting them, it seems, for the brand split. Another thing that has become a little concerning that recently we started talking about in the threads is that, well, we may have found out the reason as to why Billy Kay went missing for a few months at a time, and it was for cosmetic surgery. And also Dana Brooks got cosmetic surgery. And people are starting to get really worried about once again, the seedy negative influences of, oh, you need to be absolutely pretty to be on this main roster instead of actually being, well, talented. I'd like to get the panel's thoughts on this concern, starting with Lordban.
No, I don't want a division that is going to focus on those concerns. We're not asking the same things of the men. It's really basically, it's a vision of things. You're selling meat. No, I don't want that.
Matt?
It's just kind of heartbreaking, really, that these people, they're like, I don't know, it's like they're looked at as something other than what they really are. I don't want to get into too big of a rant about this, really. It's just, I don't know, it's just kind of heartbreaking that somebody's telling, I hope no one's telling them that they need to change before they come up, but I don't know. Before I get too long, I'm just going to cut myself off, because that's just awful, really.
It is an awful thing to hear about. Jared, what's your thoughts on this?
I hate the idea that they need to have surgery in order to get a chance at something, or they focus more on their talent rather than physical attributes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we ended up with Eva Marie because of that, despite Gino's love of her for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, these are the women. The women down in NXT. They're all pretty beautiful, and it's just like, I don't know I don't see what's wrong here. It's whatever.
Well, there's a 70-year-old reason as to what is wrong. Also, the people around Vince, who they themselves should be feeling ashamed if they are even remotely suggesting that these people need to do unnecessary cosmetic surgery to make themselves more beautiful, which they already are. I mean, I have never considered beauty in professional wrestling. You know, I always consider the uglier you are, the more of a professional wrestler you look. You know, I don't necessarily want... I don't want to be mean to them, but I don't necessarily want to see models. I want to see people who actually look like, real men and women. People who look like they came from the factories,
I want to see people who want to be professional wrestlers. I don't want to see it looks like someone's playing with wrestling action figures and Barbie dolls in the ring or something,
Yeah.
Make it... I'd rather have it more authentic than have it be another standard,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Look at the latest person who looks like a G.I. Joe. Look at the size of him. That you hear that on the commentary all the time. So, Things, what are your thoughts on this?
I think it's less about making them beautiful and more about making them a certain type. And I think when you look at the men, some of those men are beautiful, and some of them are really not. But there's all different types, and they're gonna. A guy that I think is really good looking is going to be really gross to some other woman. And the fact that all the women are supposed to meet one pretend made-up standard, it's not like all the men would like them anyway. It's exciting that they've got somebody like Nia, is that her name, Nia Jax? Mm-hmm. Because she is a different body type and she is a different look. And it sort of sends the message that there are different kinds of beautiful. You don't have to think they're all beautiful, but it's okay to pick one and like it the best. I mean, I get to do that watching the men. You guys should get to see a variety of beautiful women, I guess. I don't know how I ended on that note, but that's where I ended up.
Oh, Nia Jax can kick your ass, and she looks like it.
Right. And the other thing, that's why I've always liked Tamina so much. It's because she comes out, she's in leathers, she glares at you, she kicks you in the face, and that's what she does. And I personally find that convincing, and I'm glad that there's women like that for me to admire, and there's different types of women for other people to admire. It just needs to be a variety.
Yeah, but what we're asking of here is variety. We're asking that, there's be different types of people that people can see perform in the ring and do professional wrestling. Because this is what we're here for, professional wrestling. We're not here for... This isn't some kind of Miss Universe pageant. This is a professional wrestling ring.
Thank you for going with Miss Universe instead of the other thing I could have thought you. I thought you might have said.
Yeah, it's a beauty pageant. Because they go for, they have honestly gone for the beauty pageant models, because that's when Johnny Ace was the head of talent relations. That's how he found Alicia Fox, was in a model magazine. Oh boy. It starts at the top, but really it also continues as the problem. And once again, we had the dog interrupt. Okay, so let's get our final thoughts here and close out this broadcast. Let's start off with Matt.
Well, I guess I'm just going to say I like the direction WWE's been going, and as of late, they've had more interesting feuds, even if there's some things that don't quite appeal to me. I don't know. I'm more interested in Raw than I would say that I was interested in it like a year ago. I don't know. I feel like things are going in the right direction, and they got some exciting opportunities at the brand split. So.
I mean, they've already improved the co-commentator position at SmackDown because David Otunga's taken over from Jerry Lawler because Lawler got himself in another domestic violence incident. And this is the third incident that Lawler has had with women in the past 20-plus years. The first one allegedly was made up, the second one was a divorce, and the third one is now this weird domestic violence thing that we need to figure out more information about before we can make any remote assumptions as to what is going on.
Can't say I miss Jerry either, so...
Well, I hate Jerry Lawler. It was one of the main reasons why I wasn't watching SmackDown with the volume on. So, Jared, your final thoughts. Jared?
Yeah, I was waiting for the dogs. They're not mine. They're landlord's dogs. Yeah, I can't really stop it.
That's fine.
I'm excited to see what they do as far as the brand split goes. I like what I see so far of the product, some of the storylines they got going.
Yeah. These storylines are going to be really interesting to see where they're going to go with this. I agree with you there, Jared. Any other thoughts? Okay, so, Lordban, your final thoughts.
Yeah, brand split. Personally, I'm scared. Simple picture, very simple picture. Roman Reigns is on Raw, and he wins. John Cena is on SmackDown, and he wins. And these are the two faces of WWE, and everything is fine, and Vince is happy. And everybody else is below them. That's what scares me. I mean, it's going to be nice to see more room for people who are normally lower on the card, having time to develop, having time on PPV, since there will be more specials out of this, apparently. We are looking at something like 9 more specials a year. So yeah, that's a good thing on that side. But if it's only going to be just a different face, but basically for the same show, the same logic, which is not working well at all right now, and which is losing a lot of viewers right now, it's not going to be a great ride.
I agree with you there. I mean, because the caution must be the thing that is applied in this case, because we have, as we've said on this broadcast, we have absolutely no idea what Vince is planning with this brand split other than possibility of Roman being the main face on Raw and Cena being the main draw on SmackDown. That's pretty much what we know at this point. And whoever ends up in what feud, we really don't know. So, Things, what are your final thoughts about WWE?
Sunday was Wrestling Christmas, and I got all the presents I wanted, and I get to keep them in my heart forever. And we've got Dean, and he's the champion, and I just want to revel in it. I just want to soak it up and enjoy it. And it's WWE. They're going to screw it up eventually. So for right now, I mean, it's just clean. It's the best thing. Can't be upset because I got what I wanted.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Oh wait, it's July.
Christmas in July.
Christmas for Eva.
Now, as you can see, we are all really kind of, happy about things going on at this point because, yes, Dean Ambrose is the champion right now, and
I'm not happy.
Lord is not happy.
Traitor Face 1.
Nope.
So, it's going to be a very interesting time in WWE to see where people go in this direction. As we've said, we have no idea where this is going. Personally, for me, I'm excited for what's going on in the summer. As I've mentioned before, the summer is one of my favorite wrestling months to watch wrestling in all different promotions. Right now, down in August, July, August, I think, there's actually going to be an independent tournament called the Scenic Cindy Invitational. That's 16 men are going to be competing in this tournament that competes the best of the Georgia Indies with the mixture of talent from the few talent that they have over at Ring of Honor. Oh yes, and SummerSlam will be 4 hours.
I can't forget
4
about
hours,
the
Lordban says.
Can't forget about the Global Cruiserweight Series either. That's gonna be something.
Oh, yeah, the
Yes.
Global Cruiserweight show, which is going to be really interesting. Kevin Tierney is going to be working on that edition of the podcast. I believe once the analysis that the WWE team is going to be doing is done, then the podcast will go down and we'll get our thoughts on that particular edition. We've also got Battleground, the finale of Lucha Underground, which will be most fun, considering the last time we did Lucha Underground, it almost ended in a riot. I still gotta send Kevin these fake mustaches and sombreros for that show, so that people don't know he's doing the broadcast. And also we have the Battleground pay-per-view, which I've always been a fan of Battleground, even though the show has never really done all that well, and there's going to be quite a few Cagesiders attending the event. So that will be very interesting to see. And we also have the G1 Climax tournament that will be happening in July throughout August. And we'll be doing a show on that one as well. Hopefully we'll get the great Sean Reuter on for that one because he absolutely loves Japanese wrestling. And he never really gets to talk about it all that much. So, this has been another edition of Cageside Speaks. Thank you so very much for joining us on this edition. Have a lovely weekend. And this has been 14 Fitzpatrick, and have a good day or good night wherever you're watching this. And we'll see you on the next edition of Cageside Speaks. We don't really know which one will be the next one. Will most likely be the CWC show. If not, it will be something else. So, once again, have a good night.